Okay, we're
Come in,
now.
Swindon. Come in, Swindon.
Okay, hello and welcome to the Reservist podcast. This is episode 3, where Navy talks. My name is Lieutenant Holbert, and I'll be your host today. I'm joined by my good friends and colleagues, Lieutenant Hooch, Lieutenant Junior Monty, Rear Admiral Moose, and our guest this week. No, Lieutenant. And our guest this week is Ensign Harrison Oakley. Hello. This week's news: the capital ship captain meeting will be held.
Finally has a sub.
Shut the hell up.
No.
This week's news capital ship captain meeting will be held soon. Monty, would you like to talk a bit more about it?
This will be a basic meeting just to cover plans for fleet manoeuvres and how tactics will be decided and basic protocols we'll want to introduce into the fleet. That's about all I know at this point.
And you can find this information on Facebook on the main UENR site. Make sure you tell us kind of what days you're available, which will be great. Also, PD Day will be held on weekends from now on. This is will allow you to get to know other members of the org as well as play the PU with us all. Will also allow you to train your skills and develop tactics as well as some basic camaraderie. So, on to the actual show. This week's Shenanigans is the first part of our show. It's where we all talk about what we've been doing, what kind of Star Citizen we've been playing, all that kind of stuff. So, I'd like to start off with our guest, Mr. Oakley. What have you been doing this week?
Well, mainly this week I've been on trying to get in the verse a lot, but I've done a lot more Vandal Swarm than I planned, and failed quite a few times with my poor flying, but you see the big rocks they're always in the way. I don't know why.
Exactly, bro.
But, you know.
You gotta watch
and
out.
I don't read. Oh, it's just atrocious. I don't know. They should move. Appalling.
It is.
Can't stand it.
Terrible. And what about you, Rear Admiral Moose? What have you been doing this week? And how much Star Citizen have you been playing?
Well, I know I played a few times with you guys actually this past week. We had some pretty good asteroid events patrolling the belt around Yella, and I know that I think actually successfully gotten into a couple instances together with several people, 5, 6, which was
I
quite
know
the
we took down a tally
accomplishment.
last night.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun.
He shouldn't have shot at us.
Other than that, just been working on the reserves manual, putting that together, working with Hawk and a couple other different guys come through, proofread, and put in some suggestions to make us better flyers.
Oh, yes. And what about you, Hooch? What have you been up to this week?
Well, a couple of training exercises. One notable with Harrison in the PU. We ended up getting shot at by a Constellation, which I ended up gunning down the pilot and stealing his Constellation. Well, no, stealing is the wrong word. Impounding it.
Acquiring,
and then using that in the belts. Yeah, been hanging around the belts at Yella. Taking down a few ships.
Good man.
It's good stuff.
Good man. And what about you, Lieutenant Monty? What have you been doing this week?
Finally managed to get Star Citizen installed, so...
Yay,
First time I
guys!
played it.
He's done it! He's finally done it!
About damn time.
Yeah!
Now it is no longer theory to
And-
Monty, it is actual fact.
Yeah.
And then I broke a few UEENR rules and started shooting everybody.
Yes,
It's
you
alright.
did.
It's alright.
Yeah, it's early PU, so we're all good. We're all good. Me, I have played. I think last time I played Star Citizen was yesterday with you guys. The first time I've touched it this week. I've been mostly playing XCOM 2, to tell you the truth. That is an amazing game. I love the XCOM series. So I've been playing the crap out of that, which has been great fun. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it if someone is looking for that kind of turn-based action stuff. So it's all been good. It's all been good.
Touch it.
Huh?
Touch it.
Touch it?
Touch it. Go on, touch it.
Touch what?
Your binky waggler.
But yeah, so I think we've got quite a few topics we want to talk about today. It's going to be a good show. We've got a lot of people on today. As you can see, we've got both Moose and Oakley. So I've got a couple of questions for you, Mr. Oakley, seeing as you're meant to be our guest today, and I've asked Moose these questions before in the past. I think I know the answer to a few of them, but I'm going to ask them anyway for the viewers. And that is, the first question is, what got you into Star Citizen?
You see, the dreaded Star Citizen. I got it was Monty. It was he said to me one day, he said, Harrison, you got to get this game. And I said, you know what? All right, I'll have a look.
Yeah.
And then literally since that day, it's all gone downhill. I'm now broke.
It does. It's like a nasty spiral of...
Just as soon as you step on that ladder, there's no getting off, is there?
No, there's not. You are now one of us.
Yeah,
One of us.
One of us.
One of us.
Yeah. But
it's a bit of an accident, really, but happy mistake, I think.
Exactly. I think that's pretty much Star Citizen summed up. A happy accident. You've spent too much money, but it's okay. It's okay you've spent that amount. It's fine. What ships do you have, Harrison?
Currently, I have a Vanguard Harbinger, which obviously isn't in the game yet. It's currently a Warden. And I have a Reliant Skirmisher.
Nice.
Which is also not in the game yet.
That's fair enough. It's fair enough. Monty has an Idris, and that's definitely not in the game yet, so that's fine.
And I have a time machine.
You have a time
I think
machine.
I might need to wait a couple of years.
Awesome. And what introduced you to the UENR? Was that also Monty, or was that you just...
That was also Monty. He said, you know what, there's a good group of guys, you should come on in, they're really friendly and they don't abuse anyone. I get in and look what you're doing, straight away.
Yeah, straight into abuse. Straight into
No,
abuse.
it's fantastic.
It's character building.
Yeah.
Precisely, my fine fellow.
Brilliant.
No, he was right. He's a good man. Thank you very much, Monty.
See, we have much
Permanently
to
scarred.
thank Monty for. Much to
And
thank.
now I have somebody to work for me in my Idris. Yay.
No underlying plan involved there at all.
No,
None at all.
definitely
Not at
not.
all.
Definitely not.
Purely innocent intentions.
Awesome. And final question: what is it that you are looking forward to most in Star Citizen?
It sounds a little sad, but the actual cooperation of other players to beat other players and other factions. Because in other games, you find that it's kind of a side quest almost to actually attack the other faction. But in this game, I feel like it's going to be one of those things that you're going to all group together in certain situations and be like, yep, you know what? Time to get this done, got your back.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
I quite like that idea of strangers getting together and having a bit of a laugh.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I'm looking forward to most.
Oh, sorry, one final question. This is the final question. What role will you be performing in the organisation?
Oh, to start with, I think I'm just going to go for a bit of a subservient manservant, hopefully. But I would like to.
Somebody's gonna end up cabin boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coffee bitch. Nice.
I'd like to progress into an actual into a flight.
Senior
to
cabin
actually
boy?
Be...
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, I don't wanna,
Executive cabin boy.
just I want to be that step above. You know, I want to be commanding at least 2 cabin boys. You know,
Well, there you go.
it's
That's the
gotta be-
executive cabin boy's job.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, right there.
That's
That
it.
is my life.
Nice.
No,
So,
I'm mainly
you know,
flying.
one thing I find interested in is Harrison's come in after the PU existed.
Mhm.
You know, we've all been in the game since, Arena Commander
Back
before
in
computer
my
science,
day. Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, what are your impressions of somebody coming in as brand new so far with what you've seen and the help you've gotten with it?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, I think it's fantastic. It is possibly my favorite game of all time, and it's still in alpha. It is
Yeah.
one of those things that you just step in and it's beautiful.
Mm.
It's fantastic. And also, though the servers are small and difficult to get into with groups, if you're just playing on your own, it's quite easy to team up with people once you get in with just random people.
Mm.
So you're actually, even though there's only 16 people in a server, you're actually
Oh,
Oh, did we lose you?
I think we've lost Harrison.
And
for a
this
bit.
is
Oh.
what we call that their
Technical
Devonshire
problems.
internet speed.
Yes, sure, it's technical problems.
It
Okay.
might be Zermaset, so it might be worse. I'm not entirely
Yes.
sure.
Somebody's revved up his tractor really close to like the cable, and
Don't you
he's
just
kind of
see-
interfered.
I actually got a combine harvester right up in his fields.
Yeah.
This is why we love BT over here in the UK, because it's such an amazingly
incompetent.
stable service. What do you
I don't know, but you might want to check the
The stream.
yeah, because it looks like that's backing up as well.
Let's take a look.
Just
Oh,
did
God.
check. Is it?
Let me take a look a second, because I need to load it up.
Yeah, call dropped with Harrison.
Shit. Oh, you've got 5 viewers.
Yeah.
We've got 5 viewers, and the stream is just fucked, which is great. Good job. Brilliant.
Let's give Harrison a call.
Yeah. Are you watching the stream at the moment?
I am, but I've got the audio off.
Is it?
It seems to cleared up now.
Okay, that's right. I'll try and. I love
What's
Skype.
currently-
I love it. It's brilliant.
Oh,
Ah.
oh, oh,
Oh,
Hearing,
oh,
steady, oh,
steady.
hearing,
Oh, oh
This
God.
week,
I swear every podcast we have a technical difficulty. If it's not me
Oh, what?
muting myself.
you might want to look at the Twitch stream.
This is a beautiful example of damage control and why we should practice.
Is the Twitch stream down now?
Well, we've all disappeared for a bit. Oh, there we are. Now we're right. Okay, a little bit right, anyways.
Shit.
Shit. A call failed.
yeah.
I'm just seeing a black screen on Twitch. Right. Yep, there we go. Okay. So back to the conversation anyway. So Harrison, what is the hardest thing you've had to deal with in Star Citizen learning or doing, or besides getting into the instances or whatever? What do you where do you see the learning curve problems?
I found it. I'm. As you can probably tell, I'm not a very smart person, but I found it quite difficult in the learning of all of the controls, and I'm still very much learning how to use a bit more thought because they don't follow very well because there are so many controls. You have like eject is right alt L, which doesn't follow my form of logic. I don't know about you guys, but I don't see the logic in having that. But I think it's because there are so many controls that you have to have quite a lot of different key setups. So I found that quite difficult, the actual flying to start with, because I was a little silly. I didn't do the training straight away. I just went straight in thinking, oh yeah, it'd be easy. It's just a normal flying game.
Yeah.
Who does the tutorials in a game?
Exactly.
Where's the fun in that? You know,
Exactly.
if you dive straight in, you die
I
about 2 dozen
admonished
times.
Harrison for his mistake.
All right.
I'll tell you,
What's going on?
I did the tutorial, and I actually liked how it was kind of describing the interface to you. So it's not a total waste of your time.
Yeah, no, I did it in the end because I was just being completely useless. But it was, I agree. I think it was really good, really informative. It actually taught you to do the things you needed to do, and then sent you out and got you figuring out the bits as you go after that. So you got all of like the match speed and the rise and fall and that simple stuff, and all the boosts and stuff. And then it did really well because it then swung you out in the game and said, right, you know the very, very basics, figure out how to fly. And I enjoyed that. Really well done.
I hate Skype. I just want to say this now.
It is being annoying, isn't it?
I really hate Skype right now.
I think I might get Skype Premium.
What is? Oh Jesus! It is all just going wrong right now.
Woohoo!
I love Skype. Skype is best.
I think you need to turn your camera back on first, Curtis. I think your camera's on. Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right.
Jesus.
So
All right,
now
well-
give it a try while we're talking.
Okay.
So-
I need to move things around. Oh, this happens every single stream. We have a problem. Jesus. God. Why? Why?
Well, on the bright side of things, I think we can still be heard, not
Yeah.
necessarily seen. So
Onwards and upwards.
Yes.
that's right. Let's press on.
Press on. So, another one of the topics that we were going to talk about today was the whole Mad Catz debacle. More along the lines of they've just gone broke, which is just terrible. So
awful.
yeah, it's quite bad. I think what we wanted to talk about is if it was actually going to be any particular effect on Star Citizen itself, whether
I
it
would
was going
imagine
to.
so. It's
Yeah.
probably going to affect the peripherals they were trying to order if the company that owns the company doing them goes proverbially tits up.
Yeah.
Well, apparently not, because Satec is just a subsidiary.
Yeah,
their
but
financials
this
are
is-
done separately, and from what everybody's been saying, it shouldn't affect. They're still going ahead with it. Apparently, removing Mad Catz from the equation has probably been a good idea because Mad Catz had a lot of problems with quality control a while back. They've made a lot of bad decisions. I think Satec are best shot of them.
A lot of people don't like Mad Catz
Mm.
purely because of the quality issue they've been having.
I mean,
Were having.
to tell you the truth, I've never actually had. Well, I guess you could say I have had a Mad Catz product because I've got my Cytec X52. But apart from that, I've always used Razer keyboards and mouses and stuff like that. So I've never experienced that myself personally. But I have heard that there has been a lot of problems with.
Is that mouses or mice? Or mice?
Be
Or
mice.
even mice. God.
Yeah,
Oh, mices.
mice says. There you go. Yeah.
No, that's not English.
Remember, Rory, he's American. They've already failed at learning the language we tried to teach them.
Oh! Oh, shit! Oh, cultural stabbing going on right
Curtis,
now.
your English is so
Colonials.
bad you got mistaken for an American.
Oh,
Good job, Curtis. Good job.
shit. Well, I think we've just lost all of our American viewers now. So good job for that. Wow. Okay. So yeah, Mad Catz. Obviously, you've gone broke, but now we should have a Mad Catz free Cytec. So.
What do you think, Moose?
About?
Mad Catz, Satec.
I've only ever purchased one joystick, I think, through them, and that was the X52. It actually wasn't that bad until the trigger broke, but that was after a couple of years of usage, so it was.
That's
good.
expected after a couple of years. So, I mean, what do you think? There's going to be any knock-on effect from Mad Catz going broke with the Satec, Star Citizen HOTAS?
I would not say that it will have much of an effect, if any at all. The only thing that maybe would come out of it would be that Cytec might have to purchase, if there is any technology, which they might have. So, drivers or anything like that might actually work for the HOTAS that they're working on. I don't know if they were cooperating or not on the construction of it. So.
Oh God, I never used the Satec drivers.
I tell you, Windows 10 hates Cytec drivers. And I even tried to download the drivers that you sent me, and it just won't work.
They're terrible, aren't they? I don't know.
Work.
That's why I was trying to warn you. I was like, well, yeah, here's the link to them, but you really don't want them.
Yeah, they're terrible. They are terrible. But yeah, I think the general consensus is it's not really a big loss. As far as the whole joystick's done, I think Chris Roberts and all that have already made a deal with Cytec, which is you need to give us these joysticks. So I'm sure it won't affect it too much, because I'm sure otherwise CIG will be pretty pissed. And I think a lot of other people will be as well, to say the truth. So
Worst case scenario, they would probably go and put it out to another company somewhere and say, hey, would you be willing to accept the contract?
Yeah, I'm sure they'd probably end up buying the designs off, wouldn't they? Perhaps.
This is the thing. From what they've been saying at CIG, Satec were the only ones interested in doing this. Nobody else was interested. So
if they can't do it, then it's fucked.
Well, it might change now that Star Citizen's getting pretty big now. And there's a lot of money involved now. There's, the project's huge, over 1 million people. So, I mean, that might interest, other manufacturers now, but, it's one of those things.
Yeah. I mean, what are the in terms of other joysticks apart from Cytec? Because I'm a bit dumbed down when it comes to joysticks. I only pretty much know of Cytec. What other ones are there majorly?
Microsoft make the Thrustmaster.
Right. Okay.
Who makes that? The one that's the A10 Warthog one. That's CS or something like that. Make it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What
I'm talking. I got the internet right in front of me. There we go. It is. Oh, that's Thrustmaster. Make that. And then you got another company. Not sure on that one. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
But there are other companies out there. Yeah, I was going to say, what company wouldn't want to take this on? Because as you said, over 1 million people, that's potentially over 1 million customers, or even 500,000 customers.
Well, it's...
Well, they're going to presume that not even 1% of that customer base is actually going to be interested in buying it, so... And because they're building such specialised units, it's not as if they can sell them to their more general population of buyers. So it's not actually that profitable as a business venture if you compare it to a more generalised joystick, which can be sold to elite players or other products I don't know of. Yeah. Maybe Mr. Smart has a game.
What do you mean? He designed all the current series back in the 90s.
Tis a name that should probably not be overly advertised.
No.
He who shall not be named.
Yeah,
But
he's
his name-
literally like Voldemort. You don't say his name, otherwise he
Especially-
may.
Don't
I
say-
wouldn't say
don't-
Voldemort. It's more sort of, I don't know,
Beetlejuice.
Chihuahua, which had some super glue poured on its face. And
Don't
it's
say
still
it 3
angry.
times or it'll appear, you know?
He'll
Alright.
cancel your
Smart,
subscription.
smart.
He'll cancel your interest. You've gone done it now, son. You've gone fucked it up. Anyway,
But it's all JPEGs anyways.
yeah, talking about packages and
I was looking forward
JPEGs.
to my JPEG though.
Yeah, talking of JPEGs, the splitting of packages.
Is that going to
begins-
be retroactive? Am I going to have to buy a new whole package?
Yeah, it's completely retroactive.
But wait,
So
Chris,
everybody's got to
you
buy a whole new
won't.
package?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, it's a scam. Haven't you
I
heard?
won't.
It's a
Well,
scam.
yeah, 'cause it's not really coming out. We know
No,
that. But,
it's not.
I mean, you know,
Yeah,
will I have to buy a new package?
you'll
get
have to
both
buy
games?
an entire new PC
Okay.
And also an address.
and an address
Interesting.
just to play the first mission of Squadron
So-
42.
So, just as an official PSA, just so everybody understands this, watching this, who may watch this, who can pass this on so people stop bringing this up in the threads, if you already have a package before the 14th of February, you do not need to rebuy.
Which is
It's
tomorrow.
only for people.
Which is
Which is tomorrow. It's only for people who after need to do that.
Yes.
And the packages will be either Star Citizen or the PU, which will be $45, and then it'll be another $15 for the other package to be added onto it.
And can I just say, $15 for a AAA story campaign is fucking amazing. So for those of you that are complaining that it's going to be $45 plus a bit, what you're forgetting is that most AAA games, Battlefront, costed around $80 for a piece of shit.
I
upset
paid
Harrison.
quite a lot for Battlefront.
Yeah.
And it was totally worth it.
Get out! Get out!
As you can see, Harrison is completely
Oh,
new to
dear.
this whole business of Star Wars is not perfect. Come on, Harrison, repeat after me. Star Wars is not perfect.
I can't do it. It hurts.
Come on, repeat
Look,
after
Rory,
me.
Rory, repeat.
Episodes
great.
1, 2, and 3 sucked.
Well, let's not
And
delve
Star
into
Wars
the
Battlefront, the most recent
into
one.
the Star Wars conflict yet.
Yeah. But yeah, the packages. So if you haven't heard of this, this is something that was discussed ages ago. It's essentially Squadron 42 is now being sold separately from the PU packages and ships. I can understand why they do it. To tell you the truth, I have no. To be honest, if you've ever had any interest in Squadron 42 or Star Citizen in the past, you would have already purchased a package before then.
They said they were going to do this early last year.
Yeah. It's not as if we haven't had warning, and there are packages out there which are $45 only, and you could have got Squadron 42. And I mean, that's a AAA type of game, and there's going to be 3 more episodes of it. And I think episode 1 has about 20 missions, and each mission is meant to be an hour long. There's 20 hours of gameplay for 45 quid! Dollars, sorry.
Our British Imperial pounds are worth more than those dollars.
Again, American viewers gone immediately. You're alienating the Americans against us.
Honestly, I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that.
God.
We deal in... We,
You can tell we've got...
Just wait for the... We deal in pounds, not your play money.
I feel like we're gonna have to split the Twitch
We
stream
don't
channel.
require
We'll
your
have the
money.
Americans on the left and the British on the
On the
right, or
right.
something.
The British are coming. Yeah. I'm gonna have
I
to be...
think it's more funny to have everybody join together, to be honest with you.
Yeah. You're just the flame wars. in the
Yeah.
chat.
Did you just say the British were coming? No, we were here before you. Remember? That's why we exist.
Shit. Anyone would think you guys
The
went
British
to
are already
private
here.
schools.
British are already here.
Fucking. Oh shit! I'm gonna get so many complaints. It's ridiculous. You'll be flagged for racism, all sorts. It's
Also, what was it? The Starfare, I think, was the next thing.
Yes. The next topic is the
Didn't
Starfarer refueler, which was teased to us in ATV, and it comes with a discount for backers. I think. I may need to check source, but I believe
what?
people. Yeah, but I believe people who have backed get a discount on it or something.
I used to have one of those when I first applied for this organisation. I had
A
did actually
Starfarer.
have a Starfarer. Yeah,
That's the ship you bought, wasn't it?
I think the first ship I bought was. Yes, actually, yeah, I think you're right. It was the Starfarer, and then I went for one of the hulls, didn't I? The like the hull D or E or whatever.
Mm.
So no, it
Yeah,
was a
it's
nice
going
ship, but I thought it was a bit too far away for me to have that much patience.
Mm.
It's going to provide some interesting gameplay aspects, especially when you consider that it's going to have, the capability of doing on-the-go refuel. That'll be an interesting mechanic to see, I think, in the long run, is how they go about that. Do you need someone floating out behind you, or is it more of like a boom system, or is it just get within proximity or something they're going to have going on?
I genuinely think they're going to do it the easy way, which is you kind of land on it. So you go into landing mode. I guess you'd land on the ship or the refueling module because they'd make something special for it, and then you just kind of fuel it. Because I think if you're going into the whole point is where you're kind of lowering something, it's going to take. I don't know, but I mean they could do because it's Chris Roberts, and Chris Roberts is insane.
I would like there to be a boom or something off the back. And
Yeah.
There
Mhm.
already is.
That would be.
There's a probe which comes out of the back. The reason
That's
why
the
there's a
current
walkway
design, isn't it?
out to the back of the Starfarer is so that you can access the boom controls
Mm.
for in-flight refueling.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting aspect right there, just to know, is there a targeting aspect? Like you're going to have a HUD that's going to show you this is where you need to plug in the probe, or is it something else that's going to be like auto sort of a thing? You just kind of get it close.
Mm. I think, in terms of how they're going to do it, is I think the first iteration is going to be quite a simple design. So, as I say, you may even have to just kind of float near someone to refuel. It sounds stupid. And then obviously, as they flush out the game, it will be more and more complex. So, you will get to a point where you do have to drop a boom or something like that. But at the moment, in the designs of all the ships, I haven't actually seen a refueling bit for them. I haven't actually seen any refueling caps, any of that kind of stuff. So I don't know how they're going to do it.
Yeah, maybe they'll do a big update where it just alters all the ships very minorly.
Yeah.
And just puts like a random fuel cap on the side of it or something. You've got to line it up.
Yeah. Mm.
Be a fairly simple but quite large update for just something
Fuel
simple.
caps, the fuel probes. I imagine the fuel cap as such to the main fuel tank probably already exists under a body access panel. But it's more the in-flight refueling probes that we're going to see.
Yeah, the
That'll be interesting how
capital.
they do it with ships.
Yeah, it was the capital ship portion. I actually was kind of curious to know if maybe the fuel tanks themselves, which you see strapped underneath it, might maybe disembark or become disconnected, and then those are what are actually slid in to replace, kind of like changing out a fuel can on like on your boat, kind of a thing. Like disconnect the one that's there, put the new ones in.
Mm.
Changing your batteries.
Their plan was when I was buying one, was something along the lines of that you were going to be able to change them for cargo hull, so you'd have quite a lot less cargo hull and cargo space, but you'd have a fair amount. But when you had those on, you could hire extras and then take them off and then fill up more. Though it would cost you a bit more money, you could have multiple lots of essentially refueling canisters. So you could essentially jump from place to place, refuel, run out of fuel, hop back, pick some up, and then make the long journey back to the front lines again.
Can you imagine the logistics on this thing? Because you're going to have oil refiners and fuel refiners out actually refining fuel. You're going to need the Starfarer to go and pick the fuel up from the refiners, plus an escort, then take it back to your main fleet, refuel all the shit. It's crazy.
It may not actually require an escort. I mean, when you think of the vastness of the verse and how it's going to play out,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a very low value product.
it may be it may be enough itself just to protect itself, like a B-17 kind of a thing.
B-17s weren't very effective at protecting themselves, believe it or not. A lot of them, when they didn't have a fighter escorts, they lost a lot.
True, but
That
someone
was
has
part
to
of
be
the problem.
purposely.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Why they made them up.
as long as they're in like a high security space, they're not likely to have a problem. Not with PCs, anyways.
No.
They're going into lower security territory, especially if whoever is operating out there knows that's coming back. That's going to be a big, valuable target. But they're not going to want to shoot it because they're going to want to capture it.
Yeah.
Because you want that fuel.
Or they may just want to do business with you. Could be the other option.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
You know, may want to do business with you if you run that kind of reputation and you're not got a problem with that. Then yeah.
What I find interesting is you get a lot of people kind of on the forums thinking that everyone's gonna be that kind of dick person that as soon as you come across someone they're gonna go, oh, I'm just gonna shoot you for the sake of it. What people forget is that Star Citizen's gonna have an incredibly detailed reputation system. So as soon as you do something stupid like shoot a ship, that's it. That's on your record forever. So people just aren't going to want to do business with you, or you might just never be able to get insurance for a particular ship. So I think when it comes to pirate organizations, that's a completely different part of the game, okay? Pirates aren't going to kill you for the sake of killing you. They're going to try and board you. They want your cargo. You're going to get, you are going to get people that are going to just kill you. Of course, that's going to happen, isn't it? But pirates, they want your cargo, not your life, because as soon as they take your life, that's it. They're gonna get hunted the fuck down.
Well, not necessarily hunted down, but that reputation is going to reflect in the next target that they jump. If they say, "Heave to, we're here to steal your thing. We won't kill you," nobody's going to believe them.
Yeah.
So they're going to either blow themselves up and try and get away somehow, or they're not likely to just surrender their cargo to them. So it's not really in a pirate's interest to have a reputation as somebody who randomly shoots somebody. But you're going to get some who are just going to do it just because they want to watch the universe burn, kind of thing.
That's an aspect I think we see, or we don't see reflected right now, is the economy. I think when the economy comes around, you're going to see a big change in how people react to one another and treat. Because right now, it is a free-for-all. It's like, well, how do I get from point A to point B? Well, I got to blow you up because you're between them. But in the future, it'll probably be a little bit more mellow with credits involved.
Yeah.
2 advents that are going to change the way everybody plays this game. One of them's economy, and the other is Death of a Spaceman.
Yeah. Oh, God,
yeah.
Once those 2 are in, people are going to be a bit, it's a bit risky here.
Yeah. People are going to take the time to plan things, because if you don't, that's it. You're going to have a bad time. And I think, when people often complain about the whole balancing thing, you need to balance this against this. The fact is, leave the ships the way they're meant to be. Balance it against itself. And this is something which has been argued a lot. Balance the ship against itself and what it's meant to be. So don't worry about a Hornet being able to take on a Sabre or a Sabre being able to... Just balance it against what role it's meant to fill. And then you're going to have people that are having to plan missions because I think, right, I need someone to shut down this ship and then I need to go and do this and that. So when it comes to balance, not only are you going to have the whole death of the spaceman thing to worry about, you're also going to have to worry about what type of ships you're using. And as you said, the player-driven economy, which is, it's completely run by players. You know, there can be an organization that flips the economy from a boom to a freaking recession. And I guarantee you that's going to happen in the game. There is going to be economic recessions and there's going to be economic booms.
I could see that, but I think there also might be some. I mean, we're only going to be 10%, so how much we might be able to affect the economy, I don't know if it'll be as drastic as we.
Maybe a local system economy.
Yeah, like Terra or something.
Yeah.
Terra might see a minuscule.
Terra maybe not. Yeah.
Drop in stock.
Yeah, but you go out to out in BFE, out there you might be able to affect the whole economy in a system because there's only one little trading outpost out there.
I did see something that, I shouldn't say I didn't see this, but something that would be an interesting aspect is that as the economy becomes a thing, to have the ability to pay off things, like debts or whatnot, to so hire the bounty hunter or pay off the bounty hunter to not come after you. That'll be kind of a neat strategy to see.
Yeah. I mean, when I was referring to player-driven economy, I didn't mean a single player is going to create boom or recession. It's going to be the big orgs. It's going to be orgs like Imperium and Test Squadron, these kinds of people who are just going to really change the way that economy works and stuff. But obviously NPCs are also going to play a role in it as well. I mean, that's the whole economy thing. But yeah. So
I had a really good idea, actually, a little bit ago that it kind of slipped my mind, so I'm attempting to.
Okay, we'll give you a couple of minutes to think of it then. Anyway, it's time for that next part of the show.
And we'll ring it in with a ringtone.
Yeah, it's part of the next part of the show, which is the Ship of the Week. We've got it. The Ship of the Week this week is the Gladiator, also known as the Missile Spam Machine.
Yes.
Spam bucket.
The spam
I have it on
bucket.
good advice. I have it on good advice by somebody I know who flies them.
But yes, the Gladiator is designated carrier-based bomber. Its length is 22 meters, its mass 26,000 kilograms, and its max crew 2 persons and cargo capacity 0. Remember, guys, this is the Ship of the Week, and it's also the stats page, so take everything we say with a pinch of salt, as everything is subject to change. Okay.
Or maybe one of those sort of boxes on the side of the road for when it ices over. Yes. That might be enough salt.
Do we have a picture?
We might do.
We have lots of pictures.
It depends what type of pictures you want, really.
I'll stick a picture into the Skype chat. You can upload it for the sake of this. I'll just find it.
Actually, I can try to set my avatar to one.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
So, alright. So, experience with these so far is they're an alright little ship. Not the fastest. Not the slowest.
Here we go.
I can't show it on stream. Someone else is gonna have to do that. Yes. As you say, not fast, not so. It's a bomber. So it's not it's gonna do what a bomber does, which is bomb things.
Refer to my Skype profile picture.
All these flavors, and you chose to be salty. Yes. Anyway, yes. So the Gladiator, which is, I remember when it first came out, was as they said, wasn't meant to be anything like the Retaliator. It was meant to be a squadron bomber. So this is something that goes along with Hornets. It's something that goes along with Gladiators on kind of just patrol missions. You'll perhaps have one of these in a squadron, just in case you come across any particularly nasty ship. It's gonna be your missile boat. That's pretty much the point of it. It's gonna pretty much sit at the back of a formation, fire tons of missiles, that kind of thing at people. In terms of actual dogfighting capabilities, no, it's very much a kind of sit at the back of a battle and launch missiles at people, hide behind asteroids, launch missiles at people. That's my particular take on this. Moose, you actually have a Gladiator.
He has the most experience with it.
You have the most experience. Tell us, how do you feel this thing will perform in battles?
I think it's going to be much like the Douglas. I think, what was it called? Was it the TBD Douglas torpedo? Or am I thinking of the Douglas?
Yes.
That bomber.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to react a lot like that aircraft in the sense that it cannot. Well, I shouldn't say it cannot. It can function on its own, but it really should have a squadron. You know, it should be the 3. If you had 2 or 3 of those things, holy crap, watch out, because you're going to be seeing a lot of stuff coming at you.
Yeah.
In the event that, I mean, it's really short range, though. That's the other aspect. So it kind of does need to have that support capability nearby or around, whether it be the planet which it originated from or a ship.
Sort of like
More
a Gemini?
Kind of. So if you see one of them flying around, then more than likely there's some sort of a support group or something like that nearby, I think, with it.
Yeah.
I think it does have jump capability, but that right now it does, I know, but that may go away depending on what they bring out in the future. But complement-wise on it, what do you got? You can have 2, I think, size 1 guns on the turret.
Yep.
2 size 2 or size 3 under the wing.
Yep.
And then there are 4 double missile pods. I think they have Talon missiles or Sparks, one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the torpedo bay, I think they're size 5, size 3, something like that. I think it's 4.
Yes. It doesn't actually say what sizes it has. I'm probably missing this, but it says obviously the pylon mounts you have. Actually, no. Yes, size 5 torpedoes, which I think is a typo because the Retaliator has size 5 torpedoes.
Yeah, that doesn't.
It could be.
That
It could
doesn't
also
sound right.
be. That may be, but it might also maybe it has a capability of carrying up to that, or it could be the size of the explosive that's in it. You know, design style. Maybe they're nuclear tipped.
I was gonna say like the size of the torpedoes in the Tally is I think are larger than a Gladiator.
Yeah, they are pretty damn big in fairness.
But yeah, as you said, it could be just the charge. Or it could be as you said, nuclear tipped. But a nuclear tipped torpedo. That's something I want in my Retaliator.
Just a tip.
Just the tip. That's all you need. Just the tip.
As for like hit points wise, I know the ship definitely lacks in the hit point category. The shields are fairly decent. I mean, I would call them probably middle of the road, maybe a little on the low side, which is why you cannot sit in a sustained heavy frontal firing, attack. You shouldn't take it head to head with a Hornet. Unless you're gonna have him previously locked up and ready to launch everything you have.
You should never go head to head with a Hornet unless you're in a freaking beefy ship, because it's gonna do a lot of damage to you. Doesn't matter what ship you're in.
We ran some experiments last weekend with some of the swapping out guns and stuff. How did that work? How did you feel that worked out with those neutron cannons?
It was okay, but it was still kind of hard. to kind of maneuver. That's the maneuvering on it is a little bit, how would you say, probably middle of the road, I guess, as well. So it's definitely like the way I like to do or like to play it is I am kind of more space turrety with it. You know, I like to we see where the Vandal swarm, for instance. You see where they're coming from. You have your buddies running out there to go tangle with them, and then you kind of putz along at maybe half speed, locking up the targets as you see the ones your guys aren't going after. Lock them up, fire missiles off from distance, let them go out there. Half of them usually will track down and kill the target. Torpedoes are definitely much better in the sense of their tracking abilities. You know, they can pop flares and that might divert them, but they will come back usually and reacquire the target. So it requires a little bit more spiffy maneuvering, unless you're in an asteroid field. Then they can you can actually bounce them, or not bounce, but deflect or hit them onto asteroids, whatnot.
Have you found that the Gladiator almost appears like a bit of a hit and run ship? Would you say that?
Yeah, I imagine it'll be launching missions like the Swordfish did, just darting in against the Bismarck, sending off a torpedo, and then getting out of dodge.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, you know, when we were experimenting in the experiments we done, if you have a couple of Hornets or Gladiators or Gladiuses, sorry, and they go out like Moose said, and from my perspective, when I'm in a fighter and I'm running out and doing that, it's really nice to have those missiles taking off the ones that you aren't dealing with, especially the higher end ones. You know, your more elite ships, Vandal ships that are out there. You know, you go on and take out the smaller ones. If they're getting spammed with his missiles, they don't last very long.
No.
So you don't have to worry about them as much. So it does take that heat off of you when you're in a swirly dogfight in a big hairball. They're very good to sit outside that hairball and know that he's sitting out there and he's spamming those missiles off and taking out. I mean, we've been able to clear waves pretty damn quick with it with using that tactic.
Yeah. And just on the subject of Vandal Swarm in general, can I just say the Vanguard in Vandal Swarm, it just kills everything.
It's a beast. That ship is a beast, and the thing is it's going to get nerfed again. I'm sorry to say that, but it's just going to get nerfed at some point.
Which I'm annoyed the hell out of, because...
One ship I was
Why?
mildly surprised by was the Mustang Delta.
Yeah.
I was tearing through the Vandal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good little ship, but...
There's a surprising quantity of firepower for such a small and light frame. Certainly taking out more ships than your Vanguard was.
Yeah.
But
I was close. But yeah, anyway, getting back to the Gladiator.
Getting back to the Gladiator and stuff like that, like I said, it's a nice ship to know is out there if it's on your side. You got to make sure that the fighters aren't getting close to him, though.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that you're getting far enough away to take on those Vandal, and they're not heading in his direction or trying to flank around towards him.
Yeah.
And that's what we found in the last few experiments that we ran.
It's very much...
I don't know. Is that kind of what you're finding as well, Moose? Or
Yeah, when you're on your own, those plasma cannons or whatever it is they got on those Vandal ships are actually quite effective. You know, one shotter kind of a thing. So.
Yeah.
What also, I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but it may maybe lead more to target kills or how to make better kills. It's if you get directly onto the tail of a ship, or if the Vandal is coming at you, rather than locking and firing at him while he's directly in front of you, in a head-on situation, wait till he goes by. Kind of requires a little bit of your turning ability being at its maximum, so you can keep them in your in your front window. But if you can manage that, where they fly by you, then you launch your missiles, you usually get a kill 80% of the 90% of the time doing that. So it's a good to know kind of a thing.
Yeah, I just going back on to what I said earlier is, I mean, what Chris also said is that you very much have to kind of protect the gladiator because it's meant to be a damage dealer rather than a tank. So very much if you're in a squad
I think
together.
I think it'll be a better armored spacecraft, say the Hornet or the Gladius. I think it'll be better armored than most of the sort of fighter aircraft, in my own opinion.
It
Possibly.
may be, maybe in the future. Well, because that's something that I've always kind of been thinking about with it is the ship should technically be able to take on the forward, at least from the front, the forward or the cannon fodder, essentially from from enemy capital ships or vandal ships. I mean, you need to be able to absorb some of that because you got to get within range to launch your ordnance.
Mm.
So if you can't get within range, then that would require it needs more of a maybe it does have more of a stealthy kind of capability because of its narrow profile. I don't know.
Talking about its looks and stuff like that and its aesthetics, it really needs to be painted black and have a Batman symbol on the wing.
Yes.
It does look exactly like something Batman.
Batwing. Yeah, the Bat Gladiator.
Yeah.
But then you'd have to have non-lethal torpedoes, and that would be a disappointment.
Yes.
Yeah, everything would just become stun weapons. Yeah.
Stun and grapple.
Yeah.
But it is a nice looking ship. It does have that kind of really, really. The angles and stuff kind of just do make you think something like Batman or, that kind of aesthetic.
It's an aggressive looking ship. It's nice. It's good. It has actually taking a look at the ship stats. Obviously subject to change as usual, but it does say it has a size 3 shield, so that's pretty meaty for a ship that size. I mean that can hold itself. I mean the Hornet only has a size 1, I think maybe. Yeah, I think it only has a size 1 shield, perhaps. So I mean it's a pretty good shield on that thing. As I said, the man turret has size 2 weapons on it, so that's not bad either. That can put up its own fight and
Fairly standard forward ship's armament in itself.
yeah, I mean it can hurt a ship if he gets sustained fire. It can definitely hurt a ship. And I mean the pylon mounts got 2 lots of size 3s, and obviously the size 5, which is probably the torpedo, and then you've got your gimbal mounts, which are your 2 size 2s. So yeah, I mean it's pretty well done in ordnance, I'd say, and obviously the size 3 turret's going to be size 3 shield, is going to be good for just general tankiness against cannon fodder. So
Do you know what I think? Oh.
I was just gonna say if I had to list out what I might think are the disabilities to the ship. If you can find one from the top, or where he is perpendicular to you, if you see the top or the very bottom of this ship, it is very vulnerable in those angles, and it could be something to do with the way that the shield is designed or whatnot. But I've found that it's been very easy to apparently kill from those two perspectives. The other thing is ordnance type selection is not currently built in, which is kind of a downer. So you are at the mercy of where you are along your missile chart, your missile sheet, as to what's going to fire. So I can't pick and go, I'm going to launch a torpedo this time, I'm going to launch a regular missile this time. It's kind of what is available, what is locking right now. The other thing, I guess, would be the way that it deploys the ordnance. Currently, it's built with landing gear has to drop in order for you to be able to deploy a torpedo.
Right. Yeah.
From the belly bay, which is kind of a hazard because you're talking about little things dangling out in front of your torpedo. You have to kind of thread the needle.
Yeah.
So you don't detonate yourself and kill. And die.
Yeah.
which has been kind of a thing that's happened many times. So.
Have you still had the problem with the landing gear coming out when you're launching?
Every time. That's the only way it does. The animation is rigged so that as the door, in order for those torpedo bay doors to open, the landing gear have to come down currently.
Same thing I found with the Retaliator. As soon as you take off the landing, the actual torpedo bay opens and the torpedoes lower. For some reason, it does. You can't be in a non-weapon mode, so your torpedoes will always be hanging from the bottom of your Retaliator, which is kind of annoying. That's something that'll be fixed later on.
Now, I'm thinking in my mind. All right, this is just my mind with the Gladiator here. So my opinion. If they could somehow it's perfect, but they just need to add a bonus for the ranged missiles. If it could shoot missiles from a longer range, it would be perfect as it is.
That may be what the Retaliator is more akin to, that longer range acquisition. Yeah. But I would say, yeah, I do agree with that. It could also just be a weapon limitation that it's currently facing too. Maybe the current missiles and torpedoes are not capable of.
I think what they've done is they've made the missile range quite short, and the missile tracking capability is quite bad, to encourage you to use your guns more, because they want to get that more along the lines of World War II combat.
Then what's the point of missile ships? Like, if you're going to have that, fine, but then improve the tracking on actual missile ships, like the Gladiator.
Well, I think the way the missiles work is they can't differentiate between the two.
Yeah, but in terms of the actual
missiles won't be as powerful as they would be in real life.
I guess that does make sense in regards to if you want to draw, every engagement today starts and ends with a missile normally. So in the game, in order for you to be able to have the gun fights, you would have to engage from long range, and then be able to dodge to get in close enough to use the guns. And that also would say that the guns probably would need to be more effective than the missiles. They still could do that. They could make long-range missiles that are still hypersensitive or can really track you down, but make the shields maybe more resistant to, so it doesn't kill you necessarily, but it injures you if you take a good hit.
Yeah.
You can make it so that shields could stop them quite a lot, yet armor really, really suffers from it. So that way you use your guns to get rid of the shields, and then the missiles to finish them off. And that encourages, once again, a closer range battle. Bit of more of a dogfight kind of thing.
Yeah, I could see that. That would make it a little bit more team play too, from the order of, your guys say, all right, ship yada yada, shields are down, and then the guy who's in the Gladiator goes, all right, got it, locks onto the target, finishes him off with a missile, while your guy moves on to the next guy to knock a shield down.
Yeah, it's that could work, because obviously when it comes to the actual dogfighting and all that kind of thing in the verse, obviously contacts are going to be made a lot of the time when you're first coming through quantum or through ambush. So you're going to have that original kind of long-range warfare where it's then up to the missile boats to launch as many missiles and rockets as possible at people. And then obviously up to the actual fighters to intercept and dogfight. So yeah, I think in terms of combat, it's looking okay. I was very kind of worried that combat in the actual PU would be a lot like what it was in Vandal Swarm, which is just backwards and forwards, that kind of thing. But in terms of the actual persistent universe, what I've seen so far is a lot of people are switching up the tactics. So they will go for that kind of cruise speed to originally get past someone and have a bit of a strafing run, then they'll go around objects and that kind of thing. At least that's what I've done anyway. There is still that kind of backwards and forwards, but that's something that will be changed in the future, so it won't be as effective.
It is nice to get a break from that do-si-do round the horn kind of fighting.
Yeah.
Wave upon wave upon wave, Yeah.
definitely.
I don't think combat in a PU is going to be. I think it's going to be nothing like that.
No.
Hopefully, it'd be more decisive, if anything.
Yeah.
More of a the group lies in wait and then pounces, and then the battle's over with, or they get away,
I
kind
don't
of a thing.
know. I'd be tempted to say the opposite, that battles will become a lot less decisive because people will actually attribute value to the ships they're flying. It won't be a case anymore of, oh no, I'm going to have to wait 9 seconds. It'll be a case of, oh no, I'm going to lose months of work and a ton of money if I die.
Mm.
I would say if this was Eve and you had no chance of survival when your ship blew up, yes, that'd be true. But you can eject from these ships and you can still be, you're still there.
I don't know. I think people are more likely to bug out and evade and.
Oh, they're gonna try to,
Oh,
yeah, because they're gonna, death of a spaceman and everything else. Nobody's gonna want to die. So,
Oh no, definitely not. I think pod killing, like, just sorry on the actual subject of ejecting all that. You obviously got your escape pods and stuff. I genuinely think pod killing is going to be quite a bad thing. I think that's something you don't want to do because it's probably like the cardinal sin, isn't it? Yeah, the cardinal sin. You
It's
don't.
already written into the law that pirates radio stations advertising that somebody should kill the bastard who was potting people.
Yeah.
Because it makes life more difficult for pirates themselves, as they're being hunted by the Navy as possible suspects.
Yeah. Oh yes. But yeah. Anyway, back onto the gladiator. I think it's time we talk about the actual use. I mean, actual tactical combat use that our organisation can use it for. How do you feel that the gladiator will be used within our organisation?
target practice. Moose,
no,
go over
that's
there.
The Redeemer's job.
let's just go. Let's go
That's
down
the Redeemer's job.
No.
Let's go down
Redeemer
the
is
line.
going to be the
Let's
capital
start
ship.
with start with Hooch, and we'll just work across the screen.
Okay, Hooch, how do you feel?
I think exactly it's going to be the missile backup when the fighters go in. The fighters will go in. Gladiator will sit back a bit and take on targets to ease up the pressure on the fighters.
Mm-hmm. And Monty, what do you think the gladiator is going to be used for?
I could see it, what with its torpedo capabilities, being involved in the first strike on capital ships. Try and take up some of the computing power of the intercepting turrets and distract attackers. Maybe weaken the shields a bit for when you got the retaliators come in from a different angle. And they can deliver the larger payload and actually cause some damage, but hopefully the fighters will have been drawn off a bit and the turrets will be targeting something else.
And G-Moose?
I'd see it 3 different ways. One is to operate them in groups of maybe 3 to 4. And these would be maybe more based off of like an Idris or something, like a specific one would carry just a gladiator squadron, which would go out and do like what Hooch was saying, support the main attack, whether it be by going and providing the spam extra fire to kind of keep the enemy at bay, or to go in and strategically strike specific targets within a group that might be of big trouble or something like that. So they're kind of like that, the fist, or maybe the arm behind the fist, you know what I mean? Kind of helping deliver the blow.
Yeah.
The second role that I can see him in is if you use them for strategic surface bombing. That's something we haven't actually talked about. Depending on the ordnance types that you can load onto them, that would be an excellent ground support kind of a craft to bring in, whether it be if they have bombs that they might have, or just dumbfire missile capability for any kind of at surface level. And then the third one would be for just general support, like what Monty's saying here, where you use it to kind of soften up or maybe even distract because it provides X amount of threat, which might divert a lot of fire away from your bigger torpedo vessels like the Retaliator in the end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you, Oakley, how do you feel the Gladiator is going to be used?
Well, in offensive, I think I'm edging towards a little bit Monty's way, but differently. I think possibly it'd be used as a rear ship, so you'd have that at sort of a medium range with all your fighters at the front, drawing all of the fire, so you can continually just keep popping off missiles and torpedoes constantly without having to worry about getting hit by anything big. Whilst then there are the Retaliators and stuff jump in from the side and flank everything. And defensively, I think if trying to move around an Idris or something, you'd have four of them just stationed around it, with then a couple of squadrons worth of fighters, which would essentially, the fighters would be almost the cannon fodder to draw off the enemy and prevent them from getting to the capital ship or anything that you need near it. And then you'd have the gladiators just blow the crap out of everything that moves, essentially. So you've got fighters just dodging and weaving whilst missiles and torpedoes fly everywhere, blowing everything up, essentially.
Okay, brilliant. I pretty much agree with all of your comments there. They've all got really useful. I mean, the Gladiators, I feel, is it's going to be one of those ships which has a multi-role purpose. But then I guess you could say that for pretty much most of the ships in the game that have that kind of military style, because in terms of real life military, I guess when you're actually building a ship or you're building something, you want it to be able to fill as many roles and be effective in those roles as possible. So I mean, yeah, as Moose said, it could very much. As Rory said, it could very much be the distraction. As Oakley said, it could very much be the delivering force, and as Hooch said, it could be this massive just supporting missile boat. So yeah, very much multi-role, very much a very nice ship. One that I haven't got. Probably will pick it up when the actual verse drops though, and that kind of thing. So that has been the Ship of the Week topic.
Way to be neutral and sit on a wall and just kind of not take any stand anywhere.
Hey, I'm the host.
You're just gonna sit there all in the middle, and
I'm the host. I'm meant to be neutral. Okay, I'm meant to moderate all you crazy fools. Someone has to. Right.
Badger. Oh no, it's a snake.
Browbeat him.
Anyway, time to move on to the next topic, and this is something I wanted to talk about for a while, and this is the whole procedural generation of the game. Now, it has been rumoured that procedural generation will be coming in 2.2, as well as customization and... Shh, let me finish.
Naive.
Be quiet, man. Okay, procedural generation, possibly. The customization, and as well as a few other things with hangar-ready ships, and possibly more weapons for FPS, this kind of thing. Procedural generation, if it isn't in 2.2, but how long do people think procedural generation is going to take to do?
2.7.
A bit specific, but
yeah.
There's no
I already
right
know.
or wrong with it. He might be very well right. They're just going to put it in when they're ready.
Yeah.
I would hate to see them put it in before they're ready.
Yeah,
They might put in a small example of it, like a moon or something, just to test it in the PU, just to test it. But I'd rather it be ready when it goes. I've got confidence, and there was comments that were done on ATV this week about they were running some experiments and landing on planets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Testing it. So I think they're at a certain level. I hope they don't rush it though.
Yeah.
Definitely would say that based on the Around the Verse and the interview they did, it seems like they've, I mean, what was it? Aaron Roberts was saying that he saw some stuff, and
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
from
about.
the
Yeah.
from the expressions and stuff that they were using while they were talking about it, I would say it's probably pretty magnificent. What
And
they
they're a lot
currently
further.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they
They're,
probably have world environments that look really, really nice, but they're probably still also having to build and design how it's going to flow in and out. So I
Frankfurt,
don't
man.
think,
Frankfurt.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see it until a reveal. I think that's something big they're going to want to show off in a big flashy.
I mean, in terms of actual work we've seen, we've seen very little from Frankfurt, haven't we? So I think they're hiding something big, and I think, as you said, procedural generation is
Oh,
probably this.
in the aspect of seeing anything big and grand from Frankfurt, yes, you're right. We've not seen anything, ta-da! One big.
Quite a
But
small
a
office
lot
there.
of the stuff that we're getting is actually coming from Frankfurt because
Yeah,
they're the
yeah,
ones
yeah,
that are
yeah.
optimizing it all.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that are at the engine level doing a lot.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
we are actually seeing quite a bit from them. It's just not as obvious because it's not the big oh kind of thing. But when procedural planets come down, that might be one of their first big kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
But something that's really interesting when you talk about that is how gravity will kick in on the ships. And I know they talked about the zoning system and such, but currently, and I hope they don't stick with it for very long, is as you come in to any kind of an object, let's say it was like a planet, right?
Yeah.
That kind of free floatiness your ship has, or even like the artificial gravity we have on the landing spots on the Port Alisar.
Yeah.
As you come in, it's all still kind of like you're just kind of hovering, and you actually see this a lot on the race map. What's that one?
Oh,
I don't play it, so I
Jesus.
don't know.
No, I
God,
played it a
yeah, no,
couple
I
of.
have no idea actually.
Name of the race.
Oh,
Deptford
Anyways.
Lake.
Anyways, wherever that is,
Is it
the racing.
Deptford Lake?
It's the racetrack on. Is it just called the raceway?
No. There's four different tracks. I thought one of them was called Deptford Link or something like that.
We're probably so far off on
Probably,
this.
yeah.
Anyway,
Let me-
that's what I'm talking about. We have seemingly a planet that has a racetrack floating in the sky. It has rocket engines to hold this thing in the sky, right? You see that as you're
Yeah.
flying around.
Mm-hmm.
But what you don't see is your ship feeling affected by that gravity that's supposedly there.
Mm-hmm.
So to have a gravity aspect that sort of amplifies itself as you get closer and closer to the surface would be an interesting thing to see, or I hope to have sooner.
Atmospheric flying is going to be great to see. Because
Old Vanderval?
Yes,
That's it. Yeah, old Vanderbilt. Yeah.
Thank you, Google.
Google. Product placement.
Google was my friend.
Yeah. Google is
Yeah,
everyone's friend.
that could be one of those things that could be a bit of a game changer in the dogfighting arena as well, due to the fact that if you're having a bit of a battle with someone, you would jump into an asteroid field or jump near a moon, so you've got gravity. Using these effects all to your benefit.
Or
Trying to just change it. If you're losing, you've got to change something. That's the reason why you've got different, formats for flying and stuff like that, and you've got different types, different settings on your ships, asteroid fields. You've got to, if you're losing, you have to change something to make it so that you're winning. You've got to give yourself that advantage.
Yeah.
And the person who's winning, or whether or not you're equal or not, they're going to also try and use the environment to their betterment. So I think that could be quite entertaining.
I imagine after seeing what we did last night in Yella with the asteroid belt, chasing somebody into that asteroid belt and around in that asteroid belt with guns, missiles would be pretty much useless because they're just going to fly off and hit But even just keeping guns on somebody, it's going to make it quite hard. Not impossible, obviously, but it's.
Yeah.
But I feel like I know what I'm like, and I know that if I was trying to shoot you, Hooch, going through that thing like we were doing last night in Yella, but I wouldn't be able to do it because I'd be focusing on shooting you, and then I'd crash into an asteroid. I'd either have to be flying the asteroid field or shooting you. There's only two. That makes it really, really quite tricky. So I think that could be a bit of a laugh.
And if they ever were to bring in aerodynamics into the equation when you're in the atmosphere, you know, if having surface area on your ship meant something, like maybe your turning ability was much greater or worse, that would be an interesting aspect to see then. Because then things like the Saber and the
ruin
Vanguard,
the Aurora.
yeah, exactly. The Aurora would be the worst, absolute worst one ever.
Yeah, it would literally turn like a brick. It would.
It would be a lawn dart.
Yeah.
That's what it would be.
Yeah.
The Aurora, the Orion is another one that
the
would be terrible.
Orion. The Idris.
The Idris, the biggest floating brick.
Yeah.
Oh no, the Javelin.
Or is the Javelin?
Oh,
the
the
Javelin might be
Javelin.
the biggest one.
Jesus,
But the Javelin's got some surface area to it, so...
The Tally.
I don't think they'll have
Yeah.
aerodynamics as such, though. I think it would be far too complex.
Well, yeah, I think to properly, like, if they were going to make a flight simulator out of
They
it, definitely
probably
it would
cheat
be.
somehow.
But yeah, what I'm thinking of is when you get into atmosphere, they could do things like contrails. That'd be more of a visual aspect for turning and whatnot. But they could amp up the ship's abilities a little bit in things like turning. Could be a lot better for a more supposedly aerodynamic ship.
Just basically change the flight characteristics to match. You are now in an atmosphere, so you'd fly this way. Outside of an atmosphere, fly that way. Not simulate the full actual aerodynamics, but just change the characteristics of how it flies in that environment.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The other thing I would do is I would also, what I would, if I had to make mention and they were listening, would be to have so that when you go into the atmosphere, your ship becomes more of a brick. So maybe the turning radiuses don't get better, maybe they get worse. They elongate the amount of time it takes for you to become capable of making that 180-degree turn. Kind of more slide, more slipping. Because now your ship needs to also have its retro thrusters used to keep you elevated and not fall to the sky or to the ground.
Yeah. Because, a lot of the flying when you get into atmosphere is going to be done through a computer, isn't it? Very much like your flight computer is going to take over. It's going to realise you're in atmosphere and it's going to compensate.
Well, most of the ships would not fly in an atmosphere without a computer.
No. The Aurora.
They're not aerodynamically built to do that.
No.
I mean, the flight surfaces. I mean, and we've got planes today, fighters that would not fly without a computer. And F-16 is a prime example. F-22. Those planes.
The
Eurofighter would not fly without a computer because it flies on a
automatically eject pilot.
Yeah, if the computers go down, because it is not, it has to use a fly-by-wire system, which is constantly adjusting to make it fly. If that computer goes down, those adjustments stop, and it falls like a brick.
Yeah.
Or actually like a lawn dart.
Yeah.
Powered by a rocket.
Yeah. Just in terms of the first iteration of the procedural generation, do you think we're going to see, just as we were shown in the first kind of from pupil to planet, will it be these very kind of simple, will it be these very kind of simply laid out planets, so you'll have maybe one landing platform and then from there the algorithms will change and you will get Arc Corps and you will get souls and this kind of
you got to start at the beginning. You don't just jump in and throw the most complex thing you get out there because it will fail, But
from the
you
art
start
perspective, that's what they've been kind of doing. I mean, when you think about it, wouldn't it that they made ArcCorp as detailed as possible and they subtracted from it until they got it to the FPS they wanted or whatever, or they refined it. But
they didn't so to subtract as they optimized things.
Yeah. Well,
and that was from a graphics level. That's different than just the procedural planet kind of stuff. For that, because if you do it too complex to begin with, there's a lot that can fail just in the algorithms.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have to start at basic with that, and then work your way up.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So I would say 1.0 of like ArcCorp procedural generation stuff would probably be you'll see ArcCorp the city,
Yeah.
maybe laid out, and then you'll like maybe a more of like you'll see outskirts. Actually, isn't all of ArcCorp industry?
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
industrial planet. Yeah.
Yeah, so you probably go down to the surface and you'll see a lot of machine looking like or alleyways and whatnot, but you can't get to because they're too narrow or whatever it might be. And then yeah, you'll see more high res stuff around the actual ArcCorp itself with its landing zone.
I think the way that those sort of places are done, I've been heard it's all automatic landing. Just so, I mean, what Chris Roberts said is so you can't basically twin towers it. That's what is it. You can't. It will guide you to a safe landing platform but in terms of the pupil to planet, there's far less you can crash into, so you will be able to do that yourself.
Right.
You know,
I guess
if they don't do it, you know you're going to have idiots that are going to run in there flying, going, "No, for the flying spaghetti monster!" and fly.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Hello,
lamps.
spaghetti.
Alu like spaghetti.
Well, like I said, I think I do remember you actually. Now you're saying that, Hooch. They said Chris Roberts said that there would be a marked out zone. It won't not. So I thought they said they were doing away with EDI, the automatic or autonomous ADI system.
I think no. What he said he was going to do was it was going to change to a tunnel.
Yeah,
and you fly within the confines of that tunnel. Now, if you fly outside of that tunnel, EDI will kick back in.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's clever. It's a clever system. It is something that they would use in real life if they had an ArcCorp thing like that. Just because of the amount of traffic and because,
Safety.
Yes, it's realistic.
Pure safety.
Also, are they going to use like a civilization kind of AI which develops itself from primitive through to modern, depending on how we interact, and then you get to a certain level of which you can't fly everywhere on your own. You then have to start with the automatic and the tunnels and stuff. Is that going to be a thing?
I think that sort of is. I would say because we have ArcCorp, right? We have the Stanton system is very developed. It sounds like as it is, but like what Hooch was saying, then we have these other off-map, uncharted places that are not so developed, or they're the outer system areas. And those ones I think would be more procedurally like free form planets where you might fly over the surface and see random locations where there's a hacienda or a ranch, hopefully, or something. That would be what I would dream of seeing.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is, like you were saying, the terrains. How would they look? Because in that asteroid one, I mean, first looking at it, you had the super high res area around the landing pad, and that looked like it was maybe a 1 kilometer out square.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, it kind of got into more not so pretty terrain textures.
Yeah.
So in the future, would we be able to take, let's say we went to a system that was not developed very well. You had a group in a Redeemer or something fly down to the surface. Can they jump out at any point on that surface? And then will it look decent enough? Or will it just be kind of plush, flat textures until you get to the...
What you usually have is a just normal base texture. So you'll have, as we saw from Pupil to Planet, it was a very kind of dark grey texture.
And it was a very early one.
And it was a very early one, as they've already said. And it looked pretty anyway. So the thing is, the algorithm will just paint a base texture over it. And then, to do with algorithms, when you'll have things such as altitude, then you'll get, obviously, these wind-swept peaks. So it will look a bit paler and this kind of thing. The algorithm does this. But as far as I'm concerned, when you're at a certain distance, it doesn't render in the texture properly. It's only
the full level of detail. The LOD wasn't. I don't think they had that fully sitting in for that. So that's something they're probably working on.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of actually landing anywhere and dropping off troops, yes, that is going to be a thing. And yes, I'm sure it will look pretty because it's a Star Citizen game.
Yeah, well, the atmosphere looked really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I was pretty interested in just watching that part where they were showing how it kind of panned as the world got a little bit further out. You know, you watched how it kind of panned around. You could see the little breakup of the light and all
The
that
atmosphere,
stuff.
yeah, that was amazing. Oh, and Nyx, if any of you have seen the Nyx fly through with the Hornet, oh god, that is beautiful, and I cannot wait to be flying through Nyx. I know we're going to be getting Nyx kind of soonish, but that's the inside of Nyx, and then obviously when Procedural comes out, I'm sure we'll be able to fly from a space station to Nyx.
Now, where Nyx is not in Stanton, right?
No, it's not. It's I don't know where it is.
I think it's a jump away.
Yeah, it's not far.
I think.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of wondering.
Because Stanton's
I know
right on the edge of like civilized space. Outside, they're like one jump away from being unregulated systems, and I think Nyx is in that next system along.
Okay, because I was going to say, Nyx is probably going to come to us whenever the economic thing comes out. So when Casabo Outlet opens up in our court, we'll get Nyx.
I swear that shop has been in refit for a while. That I need to. I needs to hurry the hell up.
It might have been after I ran through there firing guns and throwing petrol bombs.
Naked.
I didn't have a top hat in.
Yeah, naked. You are just the worst poster child for the UENR, Rory. You're terrible.
Yeah, maybe we should go to the
some of my
ArcCorp.
genocidal rages. And
Maybe we should go to the ArcCorp server. I'm gonna say maybe we should go to the ArcCorp server.
Frankly, I'm surprised you let me in.
Convince everyone to take buggies and ram the door.
Yeah. Yeah, let us in, damn it. Let us in.
Oh, we did have somebody in chat, actually. Nobody was looking.
I'm sorry, I haven't been looking.
Quiznos 609. What if, I think this is going back to when we were talking about pirates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What if someone who is being jumped threatens to push the red button?
Well,
you should have been keeping an eye on this.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It probably depends on the value of the target, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think in terms of pushing the big red button, it all comes down to how much is the ship worth? So, in terms of the actual player pushing the big red button, is he willing to sacrifice his ships just to spite some pirates?
With LTI, that might bring something valid to the conversation, though.
Yeah, but with LTI, that's only the base ship. What if he has tons and tons of rare materials and tons of upgrades and modules on this ship? Is he willing to sacrifice his ship and completely ignore the fact that he may be able to get away from these pirates or strike a deal where the pirates take a section of his cargo?
And it also depends on that pirate's reputation.
Yeah, exactly.
If he's got a reputation of pulling people over and then executing them anyways, what do you got to lose by pressing the big red button?
Exactly. But yes, that was a very good question, by the way. Thank you for asking that. And I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner.
We need to start keeping an eye on that.
I may need to assign someone to do that, to keep an eye on chat and to be the official reporter for it. But yeah, I hope you're still here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, don't think they are.
Damn,
there was two guys who commented in there.
There were two guys for there.
Yeah, Quiznos 609 and Q Black Death Q.
Okay.
Where is this chat role you speak of anyway? I'm
in the Twitch channel.
Okay, I'm in the Twitch.
Okay. To the right side of the actual screen, it says Tech Marines, and then below Welcome to the chat room. You might need to open it.
Probably.
But yeah, I hope that answers the question. Sorry, we didn't answer it. My apologies. You
might want to put something in the comments on this video.
Yes. But yes, thank you very much for asking questions. Anyone who watches, feel free to ask them. I'm sorry we didn't answer. This is the last time this will happen, I promise. We'll have Hooch or Rory or whoever just keep a lookout for questions, and then we will answer them. Anyway, sorry, we were talking about procedural stuff, weren't we? So yes, we were talking about algorithms. That was right, the algorithms and how the planet would display textures and stuff like this. As we were saying, walk before you can run. So yes, I think when we first get procedural, I don't think we will be allowed to land anywhere on the planet. I think it's going to be very much as you said, down a tunnel, just for now.
No, I think we'll be allowed to land anywhere. I think it'd just be very plain.
Yeah.
It'll be like a large moon or a small moon or something that's just not going to have very much on it. You're just going to land and there's going to be rocks and more rocks and maybe another rock next to a rock.
And if you're lucky, a rock next to that.
Yeah, that's going to be about it. It's...
Yeah. But
Oh, now we got to
Yeah,
come.
Moose has found the chat.
Yeah, hey.
there we go. Moose has finally found the chat.
It was a little arrow that was hidden behind the the video.
I see. Were you in full screen mode? Is that what it was?
No. I was actually in not quite full screen. The one before that.
Oh, theater mode.
Yeah,
And
theater.
I don't think it'll take 3 guesses to figure out who Gherkin of Doom is.
Gherkin of Doom. Gherkin of Doom. That's an amazing name. I love that name. Yeah. What else? Does anyone want to bring up a topic of conversation?
Well, I was gonna planet side, involvement with capital ships and the fleet per se. That would be an interesting thing to know. What kind of missions will be out there for that, or what can you go down to do?
Well, I think just controlling planets from an organization standpoint is going to be an important thing, especially if this planet has resources. I think that's when an organization is going to want to control a planet. Because one, you can control how people mine it, so you can take a particular charge for people mining. You yourself can use the resources free of charge. Plus, you can also control activities on that planet. Obviously, you're not going to be able to control high-sec planets. These are going to be just bare, kind of undiscovered rocks with lots of resources on them. That kind of thing. You could keep it a complete secret. So this is your planet and your planet only, where you can conduct training and all that stuff.
I just got a little picture of like a Gollum guy, the kind of guy sitting on a little moon going, my planet.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you could do all sorts, and I mean, in terms of actual fleets around planet, you could, I mean, as we have our own home planet, don't we? In the
Tohill.
Tohill 3, I believe. That is going to be our planet. So we will have a fleet around this planet, and that is where we will conduct operations, and that's where our big bosses and admirals will be.
Remember, kiddies, this is the location of the top secret UENR fleet.
They can try and take it if they want, but they're gonna have a difficult time doing that.
Well, nobody said that it would be the permanent location.
Yeah. It's our
The
spiritual
permanent location is 2 stars to the left and 1 up.
With the exception of this particular secret base that we're talking about, will probably be called the Monty. So
The postcode is 5B6F8C, the binary star system.
Feel free to send cookies to this system.
also, probably should mention that there are still flight patches available for any of those out there who might be interested in the UENR Reserve flight patch.
Would you like to post a link to that, Moose?
Very nice.
Yes. Shameless plug-in, because you have to do that. Feel free to join the UENR. We are still looking for recruits. We have a massive amount of jobs that is available to you, whether you're interested in logistics, warfare, special
Officers
operations.
have always wanted the Ark Royal.
Yeah, Monty is still looking for an Idris crew, so if you'd like to be a member on board a capital ship.
I am the original crew member, the first.
Yeah.
And remember, the Ark Royal, the position of cabin boy has already been taken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Executive
Actually,
cabin boy.
we
thank
actually
you.
Sorry, executive
executive cabin.
Executive
But we
cabin.
still
boy.
have positions such as the second mate, the commander in charge of the night watch, and other important roles.
Including janitor.
Would you like to leave a link to your Facebook page in the chat, Rory, and then from there we can post it onto good old Twitch, and from there you guys can go and join. As I said, if you'd like to join the UENR, I will leave a link down in the YouTube video. Plus, I will also now put a link up in Twitch. Join us. We're a good bunch of people. If you like the whole kind of military sim thing, or just like to general have a good old mess around, which we do.
That's the beautiful thing, I think, is that the Naval Reserve gives you that large organization involvement, though it can happen on small levels through the different squadrons. Basically, different squadrons varying in their roles or what they intend to accomplish based on their needs or what they have available.
Yep.
So massive fleet operation days will, provide the involvement everyone might need or want from large scale stuff. But that won't happen every day necessarily. That's more of like a once in a month, maybe, kind of an installment. But
Yeah.
maybe there's another option out there for doing more daily, day by day squadron level events with patrols and whatnot.
Yeah. But yes, so shameless plug-in over. Hooch, I think you had a topic you wanted to talk about. What was
Yeah,
that?
well, basically, some training that we should start covering. In the PU right now, obviously, you respawn and et cetera, et cetera, but we should consider some training that involves avoiding getting destroyed or or ejecting from your ships at the right time instead of letting your ship just get teared apart and killed.
Yeah.
Because when it gets time to the actual game, we're going to want to avoid that.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big thing. Now, losing your ship or getting your ship blown up is not a loss. That's an important thing to remember when the actual game starts. Yes, there's an intrinsic economic value to the ship, or you might have had that ship for a while or whatever, but it's still not a loss in the sense of if you're in mission.
Yeah.
If you eject and you survive, you may be able to continue with your mission.
Yeah.
If you die, you lose that character, have to do the whole death of a spaceman, blah, blah, blah. We need to start really concentrating on getting people trained to think in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an interesting topic, Spaceman Prime. What do you guys think about bets wise? How many originals will be left around after the first couple months?
Exactly. So if we
I'm
start
all
training
about
for that
that.
now, I would say if we start training that now, getting that into people's mind, thinking about that actively now, instead of waiting for the actual release and then going, oh no, I've been killed, I got to redo my character, we'll be more on top of this whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
We need to start actively thinking about that now. And when we're in combat in either the PU or even in Vandal Swarm or whatever, start thinking about that. Start actively thinking that way instead of just letting yourself get blown up and respawning.
Yeah. I would even say, like, even now, I kind of feel a bit of attachment to my character, because when you play FPS, don't you get that kind of nerves, the sweaty palms, because you're like, oh god, that anyone could be here and I could be shot at any minute. So
Yeah,
No,
I
my
think
heart
walk around
my,
the
my
corner.
heart rate doesn't even go up.
Does it
I'm
not?
totally no, because
Stone
I'm
cold.
used to it. I'm stone cold. So.
Stone cold killer right here. Lieutenant Hooch, you better watch out for this guy. He gonna kill you.
Either that, or I'm just too dumb to recognize that I should be scared. One of the two.
It's either bravery or stupidity, but whatever it is, yeah.
All I'm saying is we should start actively avoiding death.
Yeah.
You know, as you do. You know.
Yeah. But yes.
Boom and zoom, man. Boom and zoom.
Boom and zoom it all the way. If any of you guys who are currently watching are part of the UENR and want to post any particular ideas which should be happening, please do so on the actual UENR Facebook page. If you have any ideas whatsoever on particular training days, what you want to cover, all that goodness, do.
The other thing too would be if you might even be interested in just coming and flying, you know, come around the TeamSpeak, or you know, hang out with guys just to do stuff.
With
That's
the
another.
guys.
Yeah, get your names around. Get us used to hearing your voices. Yeah. Get used to hearing our voices. You probably don't want to get too used to hearing my voices because I'm going to talk all sorts of crazy shit. So,
As long as it doesn't get you killed, that's what matters.
Yeah. Oh yes. But yeah. Do come around. It'd be lovely to see you and to talk to you. We do a lot of training days and just general flying around and stuff. So that'll be cool to see you there.
Let's should we do like last thoughts? Kind of go around the horn again?
Yeah, sure. So do we want to start with Hooch, seeing as he's the beginning?
as I know, some people in England are about to get snowed on in this week. So my last thoughts are really don't eat yellow snow.
We're meant to get snow.
You're meant to
I
get
didn't
snow
realize
in the
that.
next few days. Yes, yes. Well, at least on the east side of the country.
Yeah, fair enough. That's the
No,
east.
no, not in the west country.
No, not in West Country. We're right. Monty, any last thoughts?
I don't like the look of them vans. I don't like it to get me shotgun out and eat them. Effectively, no, I don't really have anything else to add other than please be a cabin boy on the Ark Royal.
Speaking,
Can be ranked
talking with a
underneath.
West Country accent and stuff like that. If you ever get a chance and you just want something to laugh at, all right, see a film called Evil Aliens.
Okay.
Just, I'm going to leave it at that.
Take it as you want.
Yeah, take it as you want. You want to laugh, just watch that film.
Evil aliens. Moose, final thoughts.
Procedural generation, definitely something to look forward to.
Mhm.
I think that's going to be pretty awesome, especially couple that with any kind of capital ships when or if we get to see those. They'll be very interesting. Training days or personal development days, PD, as we've deemed it recently, should be pretty interesting also to see, especially once we get these initial, the reservist manual document completed and distributed out to the rest of the members, hopefully. Then we can actually start some sort of a micro formalized, welcome to the fleet kind of days. Also, flying on Port Olisar, highly recommended if you can get multiple friends into the same instance. A lot of fun.
Keep working at it. If you can't get in, just keep working at it. You will eventually get into the same instance. Somebody will come out.
It takes as much skill to get in there as it does to fly a ship sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But
and persistence. Yeah.
Yeah, they never did mention that part. Persistent universe meant you had to be persistent at getting in.
Yeah, that's exactly what it meant. And just a quick note as well, do we have a time frame as to when the actual manual will be out? Just for people of interest.
I would say about. I don't want to give myself too much of a
No
ringer.
pressure.
Yeah.
We want
I
a
would-
time.
To seconds to the
In
second.
second.
Okay. All right, I'll give you an exact date. It will be out at 5:52:34.
All right, I'm writing this down. One
Yeah.
sec.
52:34. You've dug yourself a hole now.
5:32.
Yep. in 20 or no, I'm sorry, February 14th.
February 14th.
2516.
Shit. Fuck.
For
Or otherwise known as a weak Tuesday.
And,
No, but I am hopefully gonna have this ready to rock in about a month.
Awesome.
So that's what I'm aiming on. A month to get it formalized, get everything figured out, at least to what we currently have, current standards wise, across the universe and what we can do with it, and then distribute it out and have everybody out there.
And by the way, guys, I've seen an early version of this, and it's fucking awesome.
Yes.
So you're in for a treat when this does come out.
Agreed, yeah.
As proofreading is going on, it's getting more and more improved, but lots of ideas are going into it, and the iterations that are coming out are pretty good.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the He doesn't even know what we're talking about. I love it. We're talking about.
What we're talking about in about 20 seconds. He's not going to remember what we were talking about again.
Yeah, just leave it. We'll let him guess. And Oakley, any last thoughts?
Well, I'm really looking forward to the civilization kind of involvement on the planets, how quickly things are going to evolve, and how our intervention can change things within the planet, and also avoid big rocks.
Avoid big rocks.
Avoid big rocks. It's just a thing.
The bastards jump out in front of you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They
I
do.
just-
They do.
It's just there.
No.
I was just flying around the other day, and all
The
of a
fucker
sudden,
just went. Bah!
yeah, just fucking sidestepped into me, didn't he? Oh.
Yeah. You little bastard.
Little bastard.
Oh.
Alright, Oakley, seeing as you are the guest this week, you get to choose the ship of the week next week. This has to be a civilian ship. We've already covered the 890 jump and the Hull E. So any other ship apart from that, it is your choice. What is going to be the ship of the week?
Oh, we're on the spot now.
Mhm.
No pressure. Everybody's watching.
Yeah. For Christ's sake.
This is going on YouTube later as well, so just
Yeah.
pressure.
Fantastic. What would we classify as a civilian ship?
Anything that's not military, essentially.
You got the 300 series. You've got the M50. You've got what else? Aurora. You've got
Mustang.
Mustang. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a
Hummer.
Cutlass Red.
No,
Is
not
that a good? Is
Yeah.
that a choice that's allowed
That's
to be
fine.
made?
Yeah. Cutlass is
Red?
it. Cutlass. Yeah. Cutlass Red. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or the Cutlass
I'm
series.
thinking,
Should it be the Cutlass series or just a Cutlass Red?
I think Cutlass series actually, because the Cutlass Red is a little bit limited in
Okay.
some areas, but the series has good
Sure.
diversity. I think.
Cool. Alright, so the Cutlass series it is. My last and final thoughts for this evening's podcast is, remember, don't eject when you don't have to.
Or no, actually, eject if you think you're going to get blown up. Don't tell people not to. We want them to start ejecting.
In
Okay.
other words, survive.
Okay. Alright,
You know what?
edit. Okay,
Your
rewind.
last word.
Rewind.
No, wrong.
Rewind on the last edit. Never eject below an asteroid.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless
Good
unless
job.
your systems in your ship won't let the passenger in the back of your ship eject, because we tried that out last night and it wouldn't let him eject.
Yeah. That was.
I think that's
We were
just a
good-
bug
we
with the
were-
Hornet.
Yeah, we were just trying to see if he'd fly into an asteroid and die, but
Yeah.
it didn't work.
That would be
I
funny.
haven't been able to eject on any ship at all so far, so I think it's me.
I think it's the Ensign Oakley bug.
It's trying to tell you something.
More
One
like
character.
expendable.
That's all you're
Yeah.
getting.
Use it well. Alright guys, thank you very much for joining us this week. We will be back next Saturday with the next episode, and the ship of the week will be the Cutlass series. Alright guys,
And just one more thing, we will be monitoring the chat roll.
we will be monitoring the
Yes.
chat roll. I will assign someone to it. I do apologise.
We do apologize to Quiznos 609.
Yeah.
We saw it, but it was too late. And Q Black Death Q.
Thank you very much for watching, guys. See you next week. Bye bye.